Hey guys, welcome back to some NRL Supercoach 2022 round 5. The round 5 pre-lockout, so I'm doing this obviously on a Wednesday afternoon because I'm not going to get a chance tomorrow afternoon to do it before the first game of the round with what is the first game? Newcastle Manly. So I don't have too much interest. I mean, it should be a fun game, but not too much Supercoach wise for me personally in that one. But yeah, I'm doing it tonight. Otherwise, I wouldn't get a chance to. Otherwise, Uncooked Fish, Frosty, Cameron. How he's going? Hopefully your teams are coming together nicely. We'll just simmer for a little bit, and then I'll show you guys. I mean, I'll go through what my trades are at the moment. I'm not locked in because there's definitely a couple of good options that I'm torn. So I'll show you what I've done at the moment, and then pretty much there's not too much else to really go through. It'll just be I'll just have a chat. Answer questions, that sort of stuff. We'll just talk Supercoach, basically. Go Broncos. I hope so. I mean, funnily enough, like I'm not gonna tip the Broncos to beat the Roosters, but the Broncos. I can't think of the top of my head the exact win-loss, but I feel like the Broncos have turned up pretty nicely against the Roosters in the last couple of years, even though they've been fairly miserable. So hopefully the Bronx can get a little upset victory. They're obviously in a bit of turmoil at the moment. Just a little bit of turmoil. Could be 30-23 Bronx. That'd be quite the score line, honestly. Let's switch over to my Supercoach. And let's we'll go through it. There's like I said, there's not a whole lot. There's not a whole lot to really talk about in terms of Supercoach. My Dragons are toast. I think the Dragons. Yeah, they're in a bit of bother as well as my Broncos, but you never know. You never know. It's they could turn it around. And who are they versus? The Rabbits. The Rabbits this week. Tough game. Although the Rabbits, I mean, they lost to the Bronx. The Rabbits have been a bit up and down as well, but it looks like they're starting to find a little bit of form. That could be a tough game. I'm looking at it looks like a lot of games that are fairly easy to pick. There's a couple going through it. Newcastle Manly, that's a tough one. That's a tough one to pick. Without Turbo, I mean, I think you got to tip the Knights, but I'm not confident in the Knights winning that one, even though they've been pretty good to start the year. I still think you got to tip the Knights. The Warriors v Cowboys, that's also the other tough game to pick this round. I don't know. I mean, I'd probably go. I'd go with my boys Cowboys. I think on that one. The Broncos Roosters. I mean the Roosters. You got to tip the Roosters. Canberra Melbourne. You got to tip Melbourne. South St George. South. Gold Coast Parramatta. Sharks Tigers. I'm a little shocked the Sharks are $1.12 to the Tigers $7. I'm not gonna lie. I think that's a sneaky upset waiting to happen. Because I don't think the Sharks have been winning and they've been pretty solid, but I don't think they've been world beaters to be $1.12. But the Tigers have been pretty dreadful. But I don't know. The Tigers sneaky little upset there. I wouldn't rule it out. And then the Bulldogs Panthers. I mean, come on, the poor old Bulldogs. The poor old Bulldogs had the Storm and now the Panthers. Ooh, could get ugly. Got Starling Arrow. Got Starling Arrow, got Starling Arrow, King Lolo, Tuolangi Heinz Schneider, the same that I can see on top half your team. Oh yeah, pretty much similar stuff. But yeah, so my trades. I'll quickly think from memory. The Bronx have rolled the Roosters a few times, similar games. Yeah, I think they have as well from memory. I'm sure they've lost a couple as well over the last couple of years, but they have turned up. They have turned up against the Roosters, so hopefully they can do the same. But yeah, so the trades I've made. So Harry Grant comes in for Randall, which I really like. I mean, that was sort of the plan from the get-go, was Randall, hopefully make a bit of cash. He obviously is got, like, Randall's obviously going to make a little bit more cash over the next few weeks, but I don't know. At the end of the day, like, Supercoach is about scoring points, and Harry Grant is going to score way more points than Randall, and I think Starling is going to be a good pickup to play in decent games. I'm probably not going to play him this week, taking on the Storm. Although, I mean, I don't know. The Raiders, I think, will fire up against the Storm. And I think it could be a game Starling, goes well. I think the Storm, if you get on top, like, you can run through the middle of them. I think, yeah, like, honestly, I think up the middle is potentially the way to attack the Storm rather than out wide. So, Starling could be a sneaky play, but Harry Grant, you had to bring him in. Randall might make another, I don't know, 50k, but is it worth to hold on? I don't think so. So Grant was sort of a lock-in this week. And then the other one, I've gone with Talakai. Now, it's tough because it's funny how things turn around, right? Last week, I was bringing in Bo for more in my center wing for Jack Bird. All of a sudden he gets ruled out with COVID. I go early on Taylor May. He scores 97. And now this week I was pretty locked in to get Fermor this week, but Talakai has sort of come from the clouds, and I know it looks a bit like I'm never one to really chase last week's points, I don't like to just go off the back of a big score, but Talakai, I mean, if he's playing, even if I actually think center is pretty good for him, because he's running against, the halves and the outside men. Like, he's an absolute nightmare. If they just give him the footy, Dave Fafita-esque in his prime. So I like Talakai and Fermor. Honestly, they're interchangeable. If I could get Fermor in the center wing, I'd probably go with Fermor, but I don't think Fermor's, like, Talakai just has a better ceiling. At the end of the day, Fermor has, like, and that's the other thing with Fermor. He has been at his absolute prime. Like, Fermor has been killing it and getting attacking stats, but he's not going to go really past 100. Talakai, on the other hand, he has a good floor because he's going to make a lot of runs, make some decent tackles, and then he has that upside to go very big. So at the moment, I'm leaning Talakai. But the other one is obviously cooler for the Seagulls, who is a bottom dollar cheapie, and he's playing fullback. Now, that looks very nice, and I did want to get him in, but I'm not going to use a trade boost. And honestly, like, cooler, unless he goes absolutely massive, which I'd be pretty annoyed about. But if he doesn't go massive, he's going to make some money, but he's not going to make that much money. So, at the end of the day, I can definitely bring Cooler in probably next week. I'd be looking at, have another look at him, see how he goes at fullback. And then probably bring him in next week for, I don't know. I honestly don't know who I'm going to trade out for him, but you pretty much have to get him in, I think. So, yeah, that's what I'm leaning towards. I did want to get Cooler, but I think this is probably the last week you get Talakai. Otherwise, his price is going to get a little bit too expensive. Bo Former, I did want to get, but also he's a little bit, I don't know. I think I'm just going to miss Fermor, unfortunately. I should have started him with at the start of the year, but yeah, that's how it goes. Who are you going for, Knights or Tigers? I'm tipping... Wait, what? Who are you going for, Knights or Tigers? They're not playing. Newcastle are playing Manly. Am I going crazy? I traded Coruscant to Grant and Fafita to Talakai. Is that good? I mean, yeah, that's pretty solid. I mean, Coruscant has been pretty good to start the year. He did get, was last week he got the low score. I think it is time to move him on. And, like, he got a couple of nice scores, move him up to Grants, 100%. And for Fafita, I mean, I'm keeping Fafita because, like, I just, there was more pressing issues. I pretty much had to get rid of Katoa. And so it just meant I couldn't really get rid of Fafita this week as well. So he's staying, but if I had the luxury to not have to get rid of, you know, someone like Katoa, I probably would look at getting rid of Fafita. So I think that's a pretty good trade. Yeah, no issue there. Tomless Flegler got suspended again. I think he should be banned. Oh, Flegler. You know, pretty unlucky for him, but yeah, he plays pretty loose at times, and unfortunately the refs, you know, they have a target on his back now. I don't have May yet, but got Fermor the week before for Billy Smith. I think I just will have to do a moan to May, get rid of the AE Nightmare. Yeah, I mean, you have to get in May, 100%. You got to get in May. I mean, Billy Smith, I would expect Billy Smith to come back, but also Sawali is probably a week or two away. So honestly, Billy Smith is probably the guy I might look at trading next week, because I don't know. Maybe Smith keeps a spot. Maybe Momorowski gets dropped. I don't know. But yeah, I can understand trading out Billy Smith. I don't mind keeping him around for a bit longer, because I think there's some points and some money to be made. But yeah, you got to bring in Taylor May 100%. And if he's sort of the best option to get rid of, then it's definitely fair enough. My second trade is either Talakai or Cooler. Yeah, it's a tough one. It's a tough one. I couldn't really talk you out of either. It's I think probably Talakai is the safer option, but he's also way more expensive. So I don't know. It sort of depends. I mean, it's the cliche answer, but it does depend how your team is looking. You know, if you're very strong in the center wing, and maybe you're a little weak in the second row, then I'd look at Talakai. If you're looking a little weak in the center wing, maybe you've got Stags or Cobbo, even like Billy Smith who's not playing, then probably look at Cooler. But I mean, either would be good for sure. Do you reckon for Fafita, Sam Walker, Amone, for Talakai, Cleary, or Hines and May? I would go Hines over Cleary. Don't get me wrong. I mean, the Panthers are versing the Bulldogs, so I mean, Cleary could go 150, but I think he's just too expensive. Like, I think, I don't know. I'm gonna be waiting on Cleary for a little bit. Obviously, the way my team is shaping up, I'm gonna have to get rid of Schneider for Cleary at some point, and that's gonna take some money, and it's gonna take a few weeks. So I'm not in any real rush. And I mean, it showed like last week. Cleary, he was a little scratchy. I'm sure he'll turn it around. I'm sure he'll be scoring well again, but I wouldn't be trying to get him in too soon. And I think Hines is a genuine keeper. He obviously only got 44, but I think he'll bounce back pretty strongly this week. Sharks v Tigers, lol. Yeah, you got to go Sharks. But I almost, I did say at the start, like I wouldn't be surprised if the Tigers upset the Sharks. I'm just hoping it's not as bad as the Titans-Tigers. I don't know what the hell happened that game. Surely it's going to be a high-scoring game, Sharks-Tigers. Like, I don't know what happened. I don't know what the hell that Titans-Tigers game did. I just don't get it. It was very strange. But I would tip the Sharks, but I'd put a few bucks on the Tigers at $7. They're due for a win. What's your rank? I'm 4,000... 100, 200. I shot out last week. I was like just outside the top K, and then last week I scored 1,200. I didn't captain Pappy, so screwed me over a little bit. Dropped 3,000 spots, but honestly, for missing out on the 400 points basically of Pappenhausen, and I was pretty pleased to only drop that 3K and still be sitting around that top echelon. So if we just the captain, the fucking captain, So annoying, dude. We just have to get the captaincy right every week. But yeah, hopefully we can jag it this week. There's some options. Again, it's a tough one. It's a tough one for sure. How many trades should everyone be at? I don't know. It's a tough. I got 34 trades left. I mean, I've used the first week I didn't use any, and now I've used 2 boosts, and I've used 2 the other 2 weeks. So yeah, I've gone through the trades, but I mean, if you're sitting around that, yeah, around 34 I think is fine. We do have extra trades this year, and if you don't get screwed over with COVID and injuries, then you're going to have more trades to work with. But yeah, you know, you probably, I mean, if you don't have to make trades, then don't, because it is nice to have them up your sleeve. If something happens, you can sort of get on top of other people. So yeah, I don't mind, like, using them early I think is good, but once you have a team that's pretty locked in, you know, you don't want to be trading sideways constantly. You don't want to be trading, like, you know, trading Hines for Cleary, or even, like, I personally don't think you should be trading like Munster for Brown and stuff like that. You know, they're just too sideways, and they're just wasted trades because either or could score better. But yeah, the trades, I don't mind using them early, but then you want to sort of sit on them through the middle period. Should I use my boost to Cooler for Cobbo? Depends. If you've only used 1 trade boost, I would definitely do that. I think using 2 trade boosts this early on in the season is fine. But if you've already used 2 and you're going to use a 3rd, I think you can probably wait a week on it. But I mean, it's up to you. Like I said, I mean, if you get lucky and you don't really get any injuries and stuff, then you're going to have plenty of trades. So yeah, if you've only used 1 trade boost up until this point, I would use the second one. If you've used 2, or if you've used 3, I definitely wouldn't. But you know, I mean, it's Supercoach. It's meant to be fun. Use your trades. Why not? I'm going good. I'm going good, Velvet. Before trades, my second row is Yo, Tamalolo, Tupanua, Arrow, Wilton, Tuolangi. My centre wing is Aiken, Fermor, Tago, Stags, Penicinia, Mono, Valia. Start a lot of mid-ranges. Yeah, I mean, that honestly, it worked out pretty well for the most part, because most of the big boys didn't go well. I mean, I started with Fafita and Crichton, and they were bloody useless, especially Crichton. He's got, I mean, thankfully I traded him out a couple of weeks ago, but he went back to the bench. He's got like 2 30s in a row. I mean, Fafita, it's funny, Fafita is still averaging 60, but you know, the money has not been worth it. But yeah, the big boys have not fired yet, so the mid-ranges have definitely been the better option if you started with them. First year doing NRL Supercoach, went from top 19% to top 5% overall last round. Yeah, especially early on in the season, you know, especially when you get a guy scoring almost 200 points, it can be big swings in the ranks. And you know, that's why if you're a bit outside the tops, you gotta stick strong. You know, when you get into the middle of the season and you're way off the pace, it's very hard to catch back up. But you know, early on in the season, you know, you can take a few risks to try and get back up into the top. If you're already sort of around the top, you know, you should probably just play it a bit safer if you're sort of more concerned about your rank. But if you're trying to go for the top spots, you know, going for some risky plays is sort of the way to go. But I'm too much of a coward for that. My team is Jermaine Azarko fullback and Fafita and Turpin. What? What is this? My team is Jermaine Azarko fullback and Fafita and Turpin and Brian Toto. What? I wouldn't have. I mean, it's only a few of the parts of it. I mean, I wouldn't have Toto. I wouldn't have Azarko. I wouldn't have Turpin. I mean, Fafita is fine, but you know, I mean, it's different. There's a few pods in that, so well, I mean, Toto is out for a while, so you'd have to get rid of him. Hi and saying I'm in your Supercoach comp third. I haven't looked at the leagues too much, but yeah, we got some decent scores in the leagues. Yeah, I started with a feeder 2. I used his cash in my boost used to get Yo. Hines and Firma 2 weeks ago. Changed cap from Paps to Teddy last Saturday Harvey. Yeah, you know, I mean, Teddy still went alright, but yeah, not getting that 400 is definitely a kick in the guts. But yeah, we got you know, I can ponder my trades for another day, and I mean the only real thing I might change is maybe Talakai to Cooler or Firma. But I'm leaning towards Talakai because still, even though heaps of people are talking about Talakai, I feel like he's only in 3% of teams, so he's still a very big pod, which is very, very nice. So I don't mind the Talakai pickup. I have Dane Gagai. Should I look to trade him out? I mean, if you started with Gagai, that's an absolute masterstroke because he looked way overpriced, but he's been killing it. Even last week when Talakai was a bit of a bully to him, I still think he scored pretty well. And I mean, honestly, I would just keep Gagai for a little bit because, you know, they're taking the Dragons. No, he's playing for the Knights. So they're taking the Seagulls who are a bit weak out wide. I would keep Gagai, honestly. I mean, he is expensive, so you could get a lot of cash. And it's not bad to sell on the tops, you know. Get rid of Gagai for Cooler or someone else for cheap. You know, you've got Gagai's big scores already in the season. You've got his upside, and then you sell him for a big profit and bring in someone that's going to make money. It's not a bad way to play it because, you know, Gagai is a guy that could, you know, he could knock out, you know, more like 40, 50 points per game for the next 5 or 6 weeks. But yeah, I wouldn't mind keeping him, but also the money would be nice. All aboard the Talakai train, yeah. I mean, that's the one thing, like, I thought everyone was going to jump on him, but it's not a lot at the moment, but I feel like that's going to increase over probably the next day. Although, I don't know, maybe because he's still playing in the centers, people are a little bit scared to go him, because generally, you never really want to go a second rower who's playing center. It's the opposite. You want to pick a center wing that's playing second row. But Talakai, I don't think it really matters because if he's playing 80 minutes, if he gets some good, nice early footy, one-on-one with defenders, I mean, he's just a monster. Because in this Tigers game, he's going to be up against either Roberts or Gildart. I mean, honestly, I'd probably rather him against Gildart. I actually think Roberts is not terrible one-on-one. I mean, he makes some bad reads in defense, Roberts, but one-on-one, he's pretty strong defensively, Roberts. I think he gets a little bit of a bad rap for his defense. I think he's pretty strong, but I would love if he's playing. I would love if Talakai's up against Gildart, 100%. Do you think Jermaine Asako is doing well in the Titans, or did he perform better in I mean, he's only played one game. It wasn't a good game, I'll be honest. I was expecting a little bit more, but yeah, you can't really judge it off that first game. But that was, I mean, they were all terrible. They were all terrible in that one. Talakai will go good this week against Tigers. You would expect. You would expect Talakai to do pretty well. But, you know, Supercoach is one of those games, man. I mean, Cameron Munster last week, they scored 48 points, but Munster did nothing. So it's one of those things. If they don't see the footy, that's why it's all luck-based. But, you know, I think it's a good time to jump on him. Man, I wish I was looking at I mean, you can go back in my first few videos going through the second row discussions and all that. And Talakai, he popped up quite a few times. I mean, he was 300 he's gone up like 100 odd K, so he's like 330 or something like that. I was very keen on him, but he wasn't getting the starting spot. He was coming off the bench, so you couldn't start with him, but you just knew that he was eventually going to get a start and be a menace. But yeah, for me, I think I'll just keep getting money makers and cashing out underperformers this early in the season. Stags to May, Amone to Cooler. Leaves me 455. Yeah, I mean you're pretty. I mean those are the two best cheapie center wings. I mean they're sort of must-haves. I still think don't trade out Stags. Don't trade out Stags. I think he's gonna come good. I mean, I just sort of look at it like he's still scoring like almost 40 points and he's doing nothing. So I don't know, man. Like, wouldn't you just keep him? I don't know. I'm sort of like he's losing money. I just feel like just keep him. But yeah, I can also like if your other center wingers are going well, then yeah, I would get rid of him for Taylor May or Cooler. If you got no one else you really want to get rid of, you do have to bring him in. But yeah, that's not much else to really look at. I'll show you. I will show the rank here, because what we do, yeah, 1201, the round 4 wank, the round 4 rank was 31,143. So yeah, not the best, but still scored decently. And then yeah, we dropped 2,900 places. So yeah, it's still early and we're still hanging in there with the tops. So we just gotta get a bit of luck, honestly. With my total score, I'm in the top 12%. Honestly, that's solid. That's solid. You know, hanging up around that top 10% early in the season. There's not too much separating. Obviously, the top guys are probably a fair way in front, just because, you know, they would have been getting like 1,500 scores, so they're pretty far ahead. But you know, it's still not bad. Lol, I know on Stags, man, but I love looking at that 455k over what I have left if I trade a Monet and Valia. Oh, I mean, if oh, okay, yeah, you're gonna get rid of Stags and a Monet. Yeah, that's probably fair, because I'm keeping Valia as well at the moment. I mean, I don't know. I don't even know if he comes back when he's fit, but if he does, he's a good cheapie. So yeah, it's fair enough. Will you play more Cricket 22? Yeah, I mean, I definitely will when it's footy sort of finishes. I mean, I was gonna keep continuing sort of the career mode, but I just don't get time. Like between like the Supercoach stuff and trying to do my other rugby league career modes, I just don't get enough time to actually play any other games, honestly. so yeah, just not enough time in the day, unfortunately. Round 4, 1208. You just beat me. Need to upgrade 5'8" and hooker. Yeah, they're pretty key positions as well. I think, you know, centre wing is a little bit, you know, it's pretty interchangeable, honestly, centre wing. You can have a lot of cheapies that can still score very well. But hooker, you need to have one of the best hookers. And 5'8", you definitely need to have a gun 5'8". So, yeah, fairly key. Man, Dylan Brown, look at this. He's gone up 146,000. Oh, I'm very happy I started with Dylan Brown. That's madness, dude. That is madness. So good. I have to play pub league darts comp in Albury. Have a good one. Win it for us, boys. I reckon the score is going to be Broncos v Roosters 12-10 Bronx. I hope it's that low scoring, honestly, because if it's not, the Roosters could put a big score on them. But yeah, hopefully, my fingers are crossed. I have Coruscant as hooker. Do you think I should change? I mean, he's been going okay, hasn't he? Let's have a look at some players. Where the hell? Oh, here we go. Filter hookers. Coruscant. I mean, he's had a couple of off weeks. He got 43. His average is still 60. I was oh man, I'm not gonna lie, I was laughing so much when Blake Brayley got sin binned in the last minute of that game, because like a fair few people have him now, and he was going well again, and then he got sin binned in literally the last play of the game. I was laughing. I was cracking up, dude. It was great to see. But yeah, Brayley topping the points there. Damien Cook going well. Coruscant. Yeah, fucking, why did I start with Marnie, dude? I was going to go with bloody Cook, but I talked myself out of it because Cook was like fairly expensive, and I was just like, he's not worth it if you're going to go Grant. But yeah, should have gone with Cook to start with, honestly. What's your thoughts on keeping Luke Keary with the Roosters draw? He was looking dangerous. Yeah, I mean, I would keep Keary. Let's have a look at Keary, because I feel like, I mean, the biggest problem is that they've sort of been cannibalizing each other, Keary and Sam Walker. I mean, he's averaging 42. Honestly, I would probably look to get rid of Keary if he could. I mean, it is a nice draw coming up, but the problem is, yeah, like Keary and Walker, they're both just sharing it around. Like, Keary will get like 50-60, Walker will get like 40-50, and then it'll flip. Like, it's not really been like one or the other getting like a big 100. So I would look to move him on if you could. Yeah. I mean, if you have to keep him, it's not the worst, because yeah, the draw is pretty nice, and he could go ballistic. They both could, so I don't mind it, but it just hasn't looked. It doesn't look like they're both going to score that well, but you know, it is what it is. Sharks are doing well. Yeah, they're going okay. I think, yeah, they've looked pretty good. Best forwards to grab some quick money on. I still think probably Beau Fermor, if you don't have him yet, because he's only had the one price rise after missing last week. He'll get some more money. Let's have a look at the front rowers. I mean, the front rowers are shocking, but I mean, Talakai as well. I mean, he's already gone up 120,000, but I still think he's probably got another 100k in him if he starts still. Anyone else? I mean, there's not there's not that many others that I'm really keen on. You know, Britton Nakora, he's probably not going to go up that much more. He's starting to come good, but he's not going to make that much. I still think Kalma Tuolangi, if you don't have him, you know, he can't catch a break and play a full game, but if he plays a full game, he's going to score like 50-60 points and make some very good money. But yeah, he just can't. He just can't make any. He can't play any damn games. Jazz Tavanga, if he wasn't a fool and got suspended this week, then I would have probably brought in Jazz Tavanga, because he was playing lock big minutes and he would have been an absolute pod. But no, he got suspended like a damn fool. You've said that before. You should get. Why would he get banned from the NRL? His indiscretions weren't even that bad. Like, he got most of the ones he got penalized for were absolute jokes. No, he should not be banned from the NRL. I mean, Pangai Jr. He had a bit of a rough start to the year. Honestly, he's a guy I'm potentially looking at bringing in the front row, because yeah, he I don't know, he wasn't looking that good at the start of the year. I think he's moved back to the edge, playing bigger minutes and looking pretty good. So yeah, Pangai Jr. probably keep an eye on. Also, Ruben Cotter. Ruben Cotter obviously came back. Honestly, he just gets through a mountain of work. I'm not going to lie, I was very keen. I was tossing up Cotter over Talakai and Fermor, but I mean, Cotter, he just doesn't have the upside of a Talakai or a Fermor. He's going to get those 50 to 60, which is beautiful, but he's not going to go big like Talakai potentially can. But I would like to get Cotter. If I could, I would. And honestly, if I had my time over again, I would have 100% got Cotter over Tom Starling at dummy half. But yeah, unfortunately, we went Starling and not Cotter. Honestly, I didn't even really think about Cotter. I didn't even really give it too much attention. But because he was out for so long to start the year, he was in my team for the whole time, for the whole preseason, and then he was ruled out. He was out for a few weeks, and then he sort of just slipped my mind. But yeah, unfortunately, I'll probably miss Cotter. Unfortunately, but yeah, I have COVID and I'm in hospital watching this with bad internet because I appreciate it. I've been lucky. I've still not got COVID at all. Tago and Josh King, if you have had them from the start, your money that you have made from them is good. Oh yeah, Josh King. Josh King started, I mean, he's gone up 136. Tago, bloody Tago, he's gone up, what, 150, 170k? He's probably the biggest money maker thus far. I mean, Taylor May is going to absolutely skyrocket if he can. And even, what has Pappy gone up? I mean, Babenhausen, he's gone up 100k. I mean, he definitely came into the year looking a little bit undervalued, but he's gone up 100k. That's crazy. So, I mean, that 200 will do it for you. Mr. Mima, welcome. Trust you did not want to get it. Yeah. I respect that. I'd rather not, for sure. I don't get sick. I don't get sick. I've got incredible immune system. But yeah, that'll probably wrap it up. We got not much else to really talk about with the team. I still got to ponder if that's gonna be what my you got COVID too. Unlucky boys. I still got to ponder if that's gonna be sort of what I stick with. Like, Grant is definitely coming in, and it's just a matter of if I do go with Talakai. We'll see. But yeah, hopefully guys have enjoyed the little stream here. It's always good fun. Always love doing them. And yeah, I'll see you guys. I'll see you guys in the next one. I mean, the next stream will be after this round, so probably the Monday. Maybe Sunday, but probably Monday, looking more likely. But yeah, appreciate you guys coming out, and yeah, I'll see you in the next one.